Hi, this is Dick Cavett, and you're listening to the Fab Fourum, if you're smart.
Hi, this is Tony Chiguardo of Fab Fourum. On October 7th, the guys from Fab Fourum had the pleasure of hosting an event at the Paley Center for Media in New York City. Now, that event centered around the screening of the film Lenin, NYC. And if you have the chance to see that film on your local PBS station, definitely do so. Great documentary, very well written, very well done. Now, our own Mitch Axelrod had the chance to moderate the panel that included Susan Lacey, who is the producer of the American Masters series, director Michael Epstein, who put the film Lenin NYC together, Dennis Elsis, the legendary WNEW radio host, and, of course, the one and only Dick Cavett. Well, before the panel took place, the Fab Fourum guys had the chance to sit down with Dick Cavett in the Paley Center's radio studio and spend a fun and interesting half an hour with the one and only Dick Cavett. So, here's that clip in its entirety. Fab Fourum with Dick Cavett at the Paley Center.
Hello, hello, and welcome once again to another edition of Fab Fourum, our weekly talk show in which we talk only about the Beatles. I'm Ken Michaels, and joining me on the program this week, as we have every week, are my fellow Beatle colleagues, Mitch Axelrod.
How you doing?
Tony Chiguardo.
Hello, folks.
And Rob Leonard.
Hello.
And on today's show, we have a very special guest, a talk show legend who had a late-night TV talk show on ABC from 1968 through 1974, and many TV shows following that. Mm-hmm. We welcome to Fab Fourum the one and only Dick Cavett.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Your voice has changed.
He's one of us.
Mr. Cavett couldn't really be here. Huh?
What's my line?
People know my voice so much that I have had to learn in public to disguise it a little, and a British governess is the one that works best.
Especially when you're waiting online at Starbucks or something. It really confuses them.
But if you prefer I use my own voice on this show, I'm willing.
Okay,
we prefer that, actually.
That would be good.
But you can break into any character you want.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You have total freedom here.
I'll be Kitty Carlisle.
Hi, this is Bob. Join the Peace Corps. Hope. Is that okay?
Wow.
Well, let's start by talking about the first time John and Yoko were on your show, which was September 11th of 1971. John and Yoko.
Yoko.
You remember.
Yes. I'll behave now.
No, please.
If you hadn't given me that scotch, I would be fine. That was, say the date again?
September 11th of 1971.
September 11, wow.
That was actually the first American broadcast of John and Yoko on a TV show.
Yes.
After the Beatle breakup and after they moved to New York.
In fact, it was, yes. And I was grateful for it. And so was ABC, because it was a big night, being able to plug the fact that those two would be on the show.
Quite a good.
Yeah, and the thing that was so amazing to me as it started was how nervous they both were.
That's the first thing John brought up.
Yeah, he did. And they went through a pack of Viceroys in the first two segments.
Yes.
I think at one point they had 3 going at once. Shocking now to watch people smoking on TV. And but they settled down, even as Miss Katharine Hepburn was nervous, believe it or not, at first. The best thing that can happen to you when you do your talk show, by the way, is to notice that your guest is nervous. It completely relaxes you. And I thought, poor John and Yoko, they've got only me to save them here, and so I'm going to help them through. But we had a wonderful time, and John, is so personable, so approachable.
Right.
But it started off kind of slowly. I mean, you would do little things about his hair, and then it got warmed up.
And the naughty boy, John, threw in a couple of things that some people didn't get, but he didn't care. One of them was to suddenly say, "Dick, what's your definition of love?" Which was his faultless impression of David Frost.
Oh.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, Frost. People ask me about that. Frost always asked that sappy, that really profound question of his guests.
Oh, how funny.
Yeah.
John's getting a little...
So what is your definition?
What is your definition of love?
Actually, he hit Noel Coward with that question one night, and Coward said, "Caring, totally." Which was the best definition anybody came up with.
That was very good, actually.
Yeah. But they were nervous, and they did settle down, and it was a good thing. And when I said ABC was grateful to have them on, grateful to me for getting them, though I don't remember their expressing that ever. The next time they were on with Woman is the Nigger of the World, I had to point out to ABC that it was not nice to censor the get of the year. They didn't have that term back then, the booking of the year. And they said that song won't be on the air. And I said, yes, it will. Why not say that? You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
No,
Absolutely. Well,
It was a powerful performance of that song, too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they didn't. Interestingly enough, what the scared people at the network came up with was that I would, okay, we'll air it, but Dick will have to say something before, and we'll insert it into the show. So some people might be, the network would like you to know. So I delivered it in a voice that showed what I thought of it, the announcement, that is. And I loved the fact that when the 200 and so protests came in, all of them were about the mealy-mouthed announcement you made Dick make. None of them about the song.
Excellent.
What can we learn about that network?
Nowadays, that song probably wouldn't even get to be played on the air. They'd probably stop it before even recording.
Because of the infantilism of endowing any word with such magnificent and majestic power that, like Yahweh in the Old Testament, it cannot be uttered.
Right. Well, in fact, I mean, one of the things we were thinking when, John agreed to do your show, was John aware of how much street cred that you had? I mean, did he know that you had on... I mean, the airplane got the F word.
Hell of a good question. Yes, that was a memorable night. Nothing happened that night. The next morning, the network executive who was paid to be scared... motionless in mornings after shows, called and said, someone is going around saying that the following was said on the show, and it had been sung, and
Twice.
They had come around beforehand and said, this airplane, I can hear it in Nixon's voice, this airplane people, as we call them, are they planning to burn a flag? Someone said they might burn a flag. And I said, I think if you asked them nicely, they would. And that didn't go over at all. And then, but what the audience heard at home was, and you had to really know the song to know what that...
Right.
That it was up against the wall, Uncle Robert.
Yeah. But they wouldn't stand for Mexico though. The following when they were going to do the song about Nixon.
Oh,
and that one they hit you. But so did John? You think John and Yoko, were they aware of how many rock artists you had had? You had Hendrix and Janet.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they were, but when I met with them, laid eyes on them first was in the rainy day in the St. Regis Hotel. And I said, have Dick come over and chat. And they had pretty much decided to do the show with them, but they still could get out if I proved to be a swine or asked them what their definition of love was. And we got along instantly. I loved the fact that John said, you have the only halfway intelligent talk show on television. And I said, well, perfect for you, right? A halfway intelligent show. Oh, no. And he laughed.
Nice.
I took a chance. He liked that. I wish I'd arranged with him to do it on the air. It would have been funny. And he would have played along.
Most definitely.
The show went so well that the camera, you had to stop the timing, but the cameras kept rolling. And you made that into another show.
Yeah, and they also came back, so we had a full second show. But yeah, it was just going so well, it was crime to stop, and I thought, let's get it on tape. Maybe it'll go in a time capsule somewhere or something. really going nicely. The audience was thrilled, loved being there with them, and
but there was no music. Only some films of Imagine and their avant-garde films that they showed. But and then actually you turned up in the video for Nobody Told Me with the St. Regis where you're whispering.
You know everything.
No.
John had a 16mm camera on the bed. They were both on the bed when I came in, the big triple bed, it looked like, and they were not in pajamas or anything, but they seemed to work there. The papers were laid out and a sketch pad and some fusing stuff on the bed, and also a 16mm. And so I said, "What's that for?" And he hoisted it on his shoulder and said, "Would you come over in the corner and pretend to whisper to the person to your left, whatever it was." I said, "How many people have you gotten to do this?" And he said, well, "If you'd been here a little earlier," and then he named a fellow Nebraskan who had been there earlier.
How funny.
Doing a scene, Fred Astaire.
Oh.
He said, "Yeah, we Fred Astaire's staying here, and we thought, would he come down and do this? So we're going to have a scene in which Yoko dreams she's dancing with Fred Astaire." And then,
I swear I thought there was Jack Palance as well.
Maybe.
A bunch of other people.
I don't know that I've ever seen it.
Really?
It's for the homemade Imagine.
When you get
film.
over 50, the way I am, you don't always remember.
But it actually was used in the beginning of the video for Nobody Told Me that Yoko put out posthumously for John. And you're in the beginning, there's a bunch of people whispering, and you're in the beginning.
In that first set
Who
of
are
shots.
the others?
Yeah.
John and Yoko.
Right.
That's why I thought it was Jack Palance, but
Could be.
It could be. They didn't have a bunch of it because
Palance wasn't there when I was, but they were able to cut it so it could go to the various. Yeah.
We can get your copy, by the way.
Absolutely.
I like that. Good.
Okay.
How did you feel about going back to that first show? There was a lot, as Mitch was talking about, the films that were shown. It was very kind of centered towards Yoko's art. Did you feel like maybe you were a little uncomfortable with that it might have turned into a long commercial for Yoko's art?
I've never been among those totally uncomfortable with Yoko's art, except the people who were the victims of her latest thing at the Modern Art Museum, where people screamed into microphones, driving the employees up and down the wall for however long that happened.
Goodness.
I think it's gutsy of her to do it. But scream for peace. I don't know what the pretext was. But sometimes I remind people that she was not a joke in the art world. Well, everybody is to some, but that before she met John, she was known as a quite respectable and well thought of artist in that particular field of art that she excels in if you like it, and doesn't if you don't.
Right.
Isn't it true that the tapes of your interviews with John and Yoko were almost thrown away? Is that the story I read? I'd read that.
I don't know about that. I've heard this. I've been asked that before, and if it was true, maybe they didn't dare tell me because I'd die.
Well, a lot of shows have been
before it aired
from the 70s.
Or before it aired, you mean?
No, not before it aired. Just afterwards.
That happened once to me, and then they found it, but it was awful. I don't know. I'd like to put a researcher on that and find out.
That's interesting.
I have a question about those shows. I have to bring up Forrest Gump. Because
go right ahead.
Most people think that it's just that show, and they put Tom Hanks in there. But
Isn't
actually,
that
you
funny?
recreated it, the whole set.
Lifetime engineers who know that field have said, I guess you were